Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It is Monday, March the 10th, and we have a six-game NBA slate for today, starting at 7:30, a half-hour pushback than usual. Let's go ahead and get right into it. As always, appreciate if you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow on Twitter for updates at the DFS process, and let's get started. So first thing that's obviously going to stick out is that Russell Westbrook's price tag has not moved once again. He's $11,000. They already ruled out Bradley Beal for this contest, and he was ruled out yesterday, so they definitely could have bumped up Westbrook's price tag like they should have. It's just very impossible to fade him. Today, without Beal, I will definitely not be in that small percentage that fade him today, just because the matchup is just so good against Atlanta, and he will just get so much more usage. There's a chance his assists come down a little bit because a lot of those assists do come with Bradley Beal making his shots, and whoever replaces Beal in the starting lineup obviously is not going to be as good of a shooter as Beal, but I would still say that Westbrook will get a similar amount of rebounds and will have to shoot a little bit more, so he'll get more shots and might even play a couple extra minutes, although he's been playing a ton. So you just have to go with Westbrook, and then I like to go with a couple of other Wizards just because they're all super underpriced here. Looking at guys besides Westbrook, you have Nato at just $4,500. He's going to see probably 30 plus minutes today. He's a guy that can hit value. Then you have Ish Smith all the way down to just $3,300. He should get minutes in at least the mid 20s. Wouldn't be shocked if they play him a little bit more as a six man. I don't think he'll start today. They might start like Matthews, but if he does start, then that would definitely help anyways, his minutes. But at only $3,300 without Beal, I think I love that price tag on Ish Smith. And then I would say you can go to like Chandler Hutchinson, who's min priced. You have Bonga's min priced, Matthews is min priced, Gill is min priced. Those guys are gonna have to play good, decent minutes at least a few of them. Say Hutchinson might get you like into the high teens, low 20s. You could see Matthews start, but he's basically just a 3-point shooter. And then Bonga is like a defensive player, doesn't get you very many peripherals. So I would probably go Hutchinson as my favorite, then Matthews, then Gill, then Bonga. Power forward, definitely Davis Bertans was going to get you a lot of more shots today. He's been playing good minutes recently. He's just a 3-point shooter. He's not going to do much of anything else. Occasionally will get you some rebounds, but really he's just in there for his 3-point shooting, which has been erratic all season. He's shooting definitely been a little bit better, but he's still shooting under 40%. Thought it was a lot lower than that, but he's definitely looks like he's definitely made some improvements to that shot as the season has gone on. He's 37. He looks like a good value play. And then I would say that like Rui Hachimura is probably the other guy that looks very good. You can play him at center too, which I wouldn't do because I'd like to go to a better like center. But I play my power forward here, $4,900. He's gonna play big minutes, and he's going to be the second scoring option besides Russell Westbrook. So I really like getting to at least a few Wizards, and then the center situation is always weird because they play three guys. Probably one of them will have a good game. It's always tough to pick which one. I'd say that Len has the best shot because he starts. Then I would go Gafford and Lopez. So other guys at point guard besides Westbrook and Ish Smith you can look to are like Lillard has been playing a lot better. He's $9,700. You can go to Trae Young if you wanted to stack that game up a bit. Hopefully Brogdon plays today. He's $8,900, so he's not really a play even if he does suit up. And then you can go down to like a John Morant in a good matchup. He struggled last game, but it's always been like a couple times a week he goes off. And then other games he's just going to kill you. He's still playing good minutes. He only took 7 shots last game, which was surprising. But I think I like a few other guys more than John Morant today. You can go cheap here in the 6K range, in the 5K range for like an Eric Bledsoe at $5,900. If Brogdon is out, you can go to TJ McConnell at $57. Brooks is getting a little bit pricey, but he's still appealing if they are without Wood or Olynyk, or they decide to hold out Augustine, who's played the last few games, which wouldn't be shocking because they have no reason to play Augustine. He's not part of the future. So I could see Brooks look like a decent value play. And then you can go down to like a Raul Neto at $4,500. And then in the 3K range, it's basically D'Anthony Melton as a value play just without Grayson Allen. He's a guy that can get you into the 20s in DraftKings points. And then Mulder as like a pure pump play just because he's going to shoot a bunch. Not the best matchup, but he could be a decent value play if we don't get any more news on the slate. At shooting guard, you can go up to Karis LeVert at $9,000. If Brogdon plays, I'm not going to pay that much for LeVert. I like going to maybe a Jayshawn Tate if they're limited a little bit again today. 6,500 for him. He looks like a good value play. He's behind a few other Rockets for me, but he only shot 5 of 18 and he still put up 42. So he has a bunch of upside, and they don't really have anybody. If there is no Olynyk or Wood, that's really going to take charge of the offense besides Martin a bit. So definitely Tate would benefit. And then we can look to potentially Brooks, Kyrie Thomas coming off of his best game of his life with 52 DraftKings points. If Wood, Olynyk return, then I don't want to chase that performance. In the 4K range, you can go to Jeffries, $4,400. He looks fine. He's been starting. He's been playing well for the team. He's going to probably play at least in the 30s in minutes. I don't think Bradley, he's already ruled out for this one. So Brooks and Jeffries going to get some decent minutes again. And then at the value plays, it's not a ton. You can maybe look to see what the price tag is on Lonnie Walker. He's $4,200. He's been playing better, getting more minutes. He could be an interesting option at that price tag. Small forward, it's a spot where Brandon Ingram is probably not going to play today. You have Middleton, $8,400 as your most expensive player. I'd probably do a little bit better than that. I think I can go down to maybe a Norman Powell, Tate. They both look pretty appealing. You can go down to a Dylan Brooks, $5,700. Can even go down to a James Johnson, $46,000 with Zion on the shelf, and most likely no Brandon Ingram again. And then it's basically Lamb, House. I think Lamb looks a lot better than House. They've been giving him a lot more minutes. And then it's basically a couple of punt plays here. I don't know if Jeremy Lamb's going to play. He's still questionable. If they're without Brogdon, maybe you can look to him, but he hasn't played in almost a month, so he would probably be limited coming off the bench. So he's a little bit risky, but that price tag is definitely cheap enough to maybe take a shot. At power forward, it's definitely Rui Hachimura, who I like the most. At his price tag, you can go all the way up for a Giannis. I like Giannis more than Sabonis today. And then I'd look to KJ Martin, $6,200. He looks very appealing. You can go to John Collins in this sort of matchup. Really nice one against the Wizards. And then I like Jaren Jackson Jr. He jumped back into the starting lineup. He only played 26 minutes because of foul trouble, which is going to be a regular story when you roster Jaren Jackson. But I just love this matchup, not matched up with Zion in the front court. He's going to be matched up with James Johnson, possibly Najee Marshall. So two guys that aren't going to drive and get into, really get Jackson into foul trouble like Zion most likely would, because Zion is I would have expected Jackson to foul out if Zion was playing today. But at $6,000 for a guy that gives you big upside, he can shoot the three, can get you blocks and steals, going to get you rebounds. I like that price tag. I like him more than Kyle Anderson, more than Covington. And for value here, basically you can look to Delino Gallinari. He's been playing better. The Hawks are always tough right now because they have so many guys that can go off on a nightly basis. But Gallo is only 48. He's cheap, a lot cheaper than John Collins, a lot cheaper than Bogdanovich. I'd probably side with him over those couple of guys at only $4,800. And then the other guys that we can look to are Lamb, Rudy Gay, who's been playing good off the bench. And then basically Dean Wade is the only other guy besides Bertans. I like Bertans more than Wade, unless Kevin Love sits on a back-to-back. At center here, we can go with a couple of options. If the Rockets get Wood and Olynyk back, then I like both of those guys. They are going to probably play big minutes. Olynyk's already been playing big minutes. He got the last game off because it was a back-to-back against the, I don't know who they played. But they got the last game off on a back-to-back set. He played 31 minutes against the Bucks, put up 55. He's been really racking up the fantasy points, not only scoring, but getting you assists, rebounds, getting you some defensive stats in the mix. It's a spot where it's the last game on the slate. People might be off of Olynyk and Wood because we might not know their statuses up until lock. And if that's the case, I would just be able to pivot to, we can pivot to maybe some of these players in the Golden State game and the Utah game. But I would expect Olynyk has a better shot to play today than Christian Wood just because Olynyk only rested, I think, on a back-to-back. His ankle listed as an ankle injury, but he's been playing through that. I would say Wood is a little bit more risky, but I would still take a shot if you felt like making a pivot. You can pivot to maybe Gobert if Wood is out, both similarly priced, but I would like to take a shot on one of these Rockets centers. And then other guys here are like Hernan Gomez. We saw Jackson Hayes have a monster game off the bench with the blocks. He had 7 stocks. Hopefully Adams plays so we don't have to pick between Hernan-Gomez and Hayes today. And then you can always look to one of these Washington centers just because there's no Beal. One of them is probably going to have a decent game. Len is only $3,500 if you wanted to take a shot with him. And then the last guy here I would say I would go ahead and plug in is probably at the shooting guard position. We can look to Eric Bledsoe, $5,900 just to get at least one piece of the Pelicans here. He's been playing a lot better, been a lot more aggressive. He's been more aggressive than Lonzo. Lonzo just not really doing a lot, and it's been annoying because without Ingram and without Zion, you would expect Lonzo to really take charge, but he's been passive. Let's take a look at his shot attempts the last few games. It's not been very nice to see, even in a matchup against the Hornets last game. He only took 14 shots, decent, but he only played 30 minutes, and then he only played 34 against Philly. I would probably lean to Bledsoe and just take some savings there. So that is it for the DraftKings side. Definitely going to have to wait on some of these Rockets news, but right now the Wizards look to be the best team to target on the slate with Westbrook, Hachimura, Smith, and then a few other value pieces there. So that's it for DraftKings. Let's jump over to FanDuel. All right, over on FanDuel here, point guard, at least they priced Westbrook up a little bit. He's 12-4. It's still kind of a tough fade. You can pivot to like a Damian Lillard, who I like at 95 if you wanted to save $3,000. Steph Curry is also a reasonable pivot, but I'd like that price tag on Lillard. And then you also have Trae Young, 84. If you wanted to save $4,000 from Westbrook, you can go down to Trae Young. And then we have some other good value plays here with John Morant is only $7,200. You have Raul Neto at 48, and then you have Ish Smith down to $3,900. Both Ish and Raul Neto look appealing. I'd probably side with Ish just based on the price tag, but both guys look pretty good. But I'm going to stick with Westbrook. Hopefully it doesn't let me down today. 12-4 is definitely a tough price tag on FanDuel, but if he plays 40 minutes, I have good expectation that he's going to hit value. At shooting guard, it's a spot where I like going to like CJ McCollum, $7,600. Maybe Colin Sexton if they're without Garland again. And then I'm not looking to Alexander Walker still at $6,800. Josh Hart, he's questionable, but I don't know if he'll play or not. I don't think he's been listed officially as questionable. And then we can look to like Dylan Brooks, $5,000. You have Brooks, $4,500, and then you have Lonnie Walker, $4,300, and Melton all the way down to $3,600. So a lot of options here. If you wanted to go with one of the mid-range guys, I would say Bledsoe looks good at $5,700. Still reasonably priced, playing good minutes. Good matchup against the Grizzlies. Hopefully stays aggressive, and if he plays 35 minutes, I would assume he'll at least hit you 30 FanDuel points. Small forward, spot where you have Middleton, Bogdanovic as your two expensive players. FanDuel priced up Gallo. He's up to 63, so I like Bogdanovic more than Gallo probably. But I think I would rather go to one of these Jazz guys in Ingles and Bogdanovic without Mitchell and without Conley again. And then we can go down to Rui. You can go down to Norman Powell at only $5,600. And then for value, it's Daquan Jeffries. It is Lamb, 43, depending on some of these Rockets news. And that's kind of it. House is $3,600, but he's only playing limited minutes off the bench right now. So the guy that I like is another Wizard. That's going to be Rui. Just expecting Rui to have to score the ball a little bit more today, get you some more usage without Beal, and price tag is pretty reasonable against the Hawks. Power forward, you have Giannis, Sabonis, both over 10.5. I like Giannis more than Sabonis if Brogdon plays. We'll see on that news. I'd probably go down to like Christian Wood if he plays at $8,500. And then they priced up Martin up to 71. He's been balling out. If Wood is out, then he would be a tremendous option. If Wood plays and Olynyk plays, they might start him at the 3, although he could come off the bench. Don't know what they decide to do, but he would still see good minutes. But I'd rather go to Wood at $1,400 more if he plays. You can go to Jayshawn Tate at $6,200. You can go down to a Jaren Jackson at only $55. Love that price tag on Jaren Jackson. This type of matchup, really good one. Hopefully he gets some block shots. Hopefully he stays out of foul trouble as well. If he does, even in limited minutes, like 25 minutes, he's been hitting value easily. If he stays out of foul trouble and gets up to like 30 minutes, then you would probably put up 40-plus FanDuel points. So definitely looking at Jaren Jackson at the power forward position. And then at center, you have nobody above $8,100. I like Olynyk a lot if he does suit up. especially if people are just going to fade him because they are worried about his injury. Other guys you can pivot to, if he's out, you can easily go down to like Rudy Gobert against Golden State. He should have a very good advantage in terms of rebounding and getting you some block shots and some defensive stats and rebounds in that one. You can go down to a Yusuf Nurkic also. Capella 77, he's nicely priced. It's just that they have so many guys that Capella is kind of getting lost in like the not getting a ton of usage. He's getting you some putbacks and stuff, but with Gallo, with Trae Young, with Bogdanovich, with Kevin Huerter, it's just like they're just not. The ball can only go to one guy to score. Capella's not going to be dominating the scoring. Might get a big game in like block shots or rebounds, but I'd probably like to get to like Gobert or Olynyk a little bit more than him. And then Valanciunas been playing great also. He's 8K. So I'd rather go to all three of those guys over Capella. And then for value, it's Jakob Poeltl. I like him at 57. And then if there's no Steven Adams, maybe you can look to Hernangomez. But I kind of think that I'd rather go up a little bit more at center today. So I'll stick with Olynyk for now. If he's out, then I can go to Gobert. I can go to Nurkic. But hopefully he plays. And if he does, I would expect a good game against Portland. So that's it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. Best of luck tonight, and I'll catch you all next time.